neurotic about doing videos, so I decided to sit by the piano. This way maybe I feel a bit more like a performer. But yeah, so something's been on my mind lately. When I was really unhealthy, and I'm talking, I had a singing career when I was 16, and I was going for Broadway, and I was recording my album in New York City, and then I got hit with an illness that nearly killed me, cut out all my opportunities to travel for college, for jobs, basically left me dependent on medicine indefinitely, and also stripped me of my voice permanently. Around the same time, I fell in love and lost him. So I was heartbroken. I had lost everything, including any fantasies I might have had about love, and a very real aspect of my life, which was my music career, which I had actually been working up to since age 4. So I lost everything. So as you can imagine, I was quite unhealthy, and I took that out in my clothes, my actions, my art. I became an animal, a demonic beast. You know, as a 4, I processed a lot of this through identity expression and art, and I don't want to nurture the rumor that everyone who's an artist is a 4, but I happen to be a 4 and also an artist. So for me, I took my art has always been my life, and my life is art. This room where I play piano, it's art. You know, it has the red curtains, it has the part of me that gets nurtured by the art in the room, and you know, unfortunately, it also has the elliptical. But basically I see this as my spirit body room. Like, this is the room where I make it real, where I pound things, and it's red. It's the blood room. And I've always had my music rooms, you know, with a red tinge, and having weights close by, because I start working up a sweat, you know? I start getting dramatic, and the piano drives me to work out, and the workout drives me to the piano. It's like a whole soul thing. But anyway, that's beside the point. So this is the way I've handled my wardrobe, my self-expression. So back then I had blood pink hair. Why? Why not red? Because I wasn't human. I was a distorted, lower vibration version of my real human self. Even my blood was blue or pink. So my hair was pink with sometimes blue streaks, because I bleed blue like a reptile. And my love was pink. It was about seduction and sex and being admired. It was not about bleeding, being vulnerable. So in my art, I was naked, covered in scratches, shaped like the symbols that I created myself about my soul and the torture I was going through. And men worshipped me. I was known as a conqueror and a heartbreaker. I could fuck, and I could seduce, and I could conquer, but I couldn't love. And men fell at my feet, women too. I had so many fans, so many people in love with me, people writing albums about me, people worshipping my fucked up brokenness to the skies. I was an inspiration. I was raw, broken. So sexy. They would tell me in the same breath, you're destructive, you're a vampire, you're a beast, you're crude, you're a total bitch. You know why? Because I'm in love with you. You're a bitch because I love you and I can't have you. This is when I was traumatized. Now, I'm not blaming these people. These were also people my age who were fucked up and going through their own shit. So they wanted to put they saw in me a reflection of their own darkness that was so seductive to them. And they worshipped it, and they hated it, and they feared it. was just as bad as them. They were just as bad as me. But we were all the same age, and we were all going through this together. And for me, as an SX dom who had lost my voice, my beauty, at the time I had lost my hair, this is actually like a quarter, or maybe even like an eighth of the amount of hair I used to have. I used to have this beautiful, vibrant mane, but I lost everything. I often had like red blotches around my eyes from the illness. I was either too skinny or too fat because of the medicines. I lost my beauty. Not that I ever felt that I really was beautiful anyway. And these men loved my darkness. So you can imagine that it was very fucking hard for me to give up that darkness. Not that I'll ever give it up, but it was very hard for me to promote an identity of health and self-care and wholesomeness when the only thing that anyone ever worshipped about me was my beautiful darkness. Very fucking hard. And those people, those type of people who love my darkness, they don't want to see me get better. The people back then who went through it with me, who were my age, who grew out of it with me, they're all integrated. Some of my friends I can think of offhand, a 2, a 5, a 4, they all have partners. They're married or they're, dating healthy relationships. Or in some cases, they're single, but they're looking at themselves. Some of them have great careers. Some of them have become very wealthy, coming from nothing. Some of them are just living modest lifestyles on their own, but they're looking at themselves. They're happy that I'm happy. The problem with the internet is that you meet people in their 30s and 40s who are still the same way that we were in our 20s, who are still rotting in their own darkness and wanting to see it mirrored in others. And those people, those are predators. These are 30, 40-year-olds who are preying on the darkness of young, suffering people and worshipping it. And the Enneagram forums give you a place to do that. Those people are 4s with 8 fixes. Now, some of them are not 4s with 8 fixes, but they get given this label of the 4 or the 458 or whatever, because that's the dark goddess that you want to worship. That's the suffering, tortured soul. Some of these people are 6s, 9s, 2s, it doesn't matter. But they get associated with these badass labels because in these Enneagram communities, these 30-year-old, 40-year-old people, they want to jerk off to the idea of some suffering, tortured young soul. I know that. I know how that feels. Because when I was in my 20s, I also was that tortured, suffering, young, fucked up soul who psychiatrists told, there must be something really wrong. Psychiatrists were telling me, what's the problem? Like, are you bipolar? Are you depressed? Like, what's going on here? Or the other kids were like, you're a dark goddess. I worship your darkness. And that just made me want to stay that way. And this would be the case even for people who aren't 4s. They want to hold on to the traits that get them attention. See, this isn't about being a 4. This is about people going at it from an SX angle. They want to be worshipped in a sexual way. But all kinds of people can want this for different reasons. So they want to be appreciated. Like, let's say you have an SPSO2. They want to be appreciated for their goodness and their service. But that's actually their darkness, because their darkness is that they're not looking at themselves. The only thing they're looking at is their fantasy that they can win someone over through these helpful acts of service. So there's always a fantasy about yourself. It's just that in the case of people who are more 4-like, that fantasy is more like, a dark beast or a wretched vampire. And people in Enneagram communities, they worship this idol. And that is fine, because for people who are 20 and other people are 20, like in my college, we had an Enneagram culture. They didn't actually worship 4 in that culture, believe it or not. People who were all 20, they all typed differently and no one had any big to-do about one type or another. But when you have these older people, like in their 40s, and especially if they pass themselves off for an Enneagram guru, and they worship certain types as like darkness and everything, it makes these young people want to cling to those labels, and it makes them also want to cling to their darkness, which is not good for them. Because the idea of an Enneagram is to grow into something more. To grow. To find truth, happiness, peace, contentment. To find out who you really are beyond these identity labels of darkness and suffering. So when you have a 20-year-old on the same board as older people who are fueling this need for someone to be dark and fucked up and suffer, and they're worshiping it and clapping for it, instead of saying, hey, who are you really though? And noticing your humanity, that's actually very dangerous. And that's why we're going after it on this board, to say, like, we're not impressed by your fucked up dark image. Now, believe me, this is hard for me, because for me, the only thing I am impressed with about myself is my fucked up image. But I'm trying to be the bigger fucking person. I'm trying to integrate here and say, you know, through my husband and my family and my friends, I've discovered that there's more about me to love. I just want to be able to bring that to other people too. So they don't call fodder anymore. These young girls, they start to get better, and then you can't jerk off to their raw, dark image anymore. Think about their health. This is not about you. It's not about you jerking off to someone's dark, fucked up, twisted image, and you cheering on, like, oh, you're so dark, you're so 4-ish and 8-ish and 5-ish and whatever. Yay, you're so fucked up. And then you cheer it on, and then these people think, no one's gonna love me when I'm boring and mundane. They're just gonna cheer me on when I'm fucked up. That's not good for them. It's not good. It's good for you, because you're basically using them as human porn. But if you're not in their same age bracket, and you're both going through these fucked up things together, then what you're really doing is you're preying on young people, the darkness they're going through, and you're fetishizing it. And you're making that into your fetish, which actually prevents them from getting better, because what they're thinking is, people get off to my darkness, people jerk off to how dark and fucked up I am, so why should I get better? No one's gonna love me then. Then I'll just be boring, just like everyone else. So why should I get better?